I'm J.R. Church. Welcome to today's analysis of the news. This comes from the Jerusalem Post. Egypt's foreign minister, Ahmed Abul-Gheit, said on Tuesday that the Arab world may normalize ties. Notice he didn't say would normalize ties, but may normalize ties with Israel, but only if Israel freezes construction in the West Bank settlements and renews negotiations with the Palestinians. He said, quote, "Is normalization possible as long as the building and settlements continues?" The answer is no, of course. Gheit was quoted in a joint press conference with his Spanish counterpart in Cairo last week. On Tuesday, Mr. Gheit spoke again to reporters after the Prime Minister's office said that Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu will meet with Egyptian President Hosni Mubarak this coming Sunday. Quote, "If Israel takes a big step toward the Palestinians," he said, "a step which will reflect its honesty and willingness for serious negotiations, only then will Arab countries take their own steps and be ready to accept normalization." Well, each Arab country has to take its own steps. They're not going to be cajoled. They're not going to be wined and dined by the U.S. State Department. Oh, no, we're going to let them take their own steps whenever they get good and ready to, of course. Earlier Tuesday, the Prime Minister's office confirmed that Netanyahu will be meeting with Mubarak Sunday in the presidential palace in Cairo. According to a report in the Kuwaiti newspaper Al Jarida, the two leaders will discuss Iran, captive IDF soldier Gilad Shalit, and negotiations between Israel and the Palestinians, as well as recent comments made by Arab League General Secretary Amir Moussa, who called on the Arab world to reject normalization with the Arab or with the Jewish state. The meeting was apparently planned in advance. And by the way, if the leader of the Arab world, that is this Arab League General Secretary Amir Moussa, says that they're not going to normalize relationships with the Jewish state, why are they bothering to negotiate? You understand what I'm saying? Israel is bending over backwards. Netanyahu is going to Cairo this Sunday. They're agreeing to stop construction in Jewish settlements, please, in and around Jerusalem. Going to stop construction just to placate the Arabs once again. Do you remember Israel moved lock, stock, and barrel out of Gush Katif? You remember that? Down on the Mediterranean coast? Gave it to the Arabs. What did the Arabs do? Well, they went into all of those hot houses, where they've been growing fruit, all those greenhouses. What did they do? Israel gave them to him. Here is a way you can make a living. What'd they do? They destroyed them. And Israel has never harmed one single mosque in all these years that the Jews have been there. And that goes back to 1873. But what did the Arabs do in Gush Katif? They burned the synagogue. That's what they did. And then after that, Israel moved out of the Hebron community, the Jewish community in Hebron, where Abraham, their father, is buried. You think the Arabs would then say, okay, we'll normalize relationships? No. It's over and over and over again. Israel has bent over backwards to try to placate the Arabs. And now they're saying, well, if you'll just stop construction, maybe we'll think about negotiations. Word of the meeting with Egypt's President Mubarak comes after Benjamin Netanyahu disappeared for about 10 hours on Monday. According to an official statement, Netanyahu had visited a sensitive military installation during that time. But the Jerusalem Post says that he was probably meeting with an unnamed Arab leader. You see, Mr. Netanyahu is doing his dead level best to talk to the Arabs, to get the Arabs to be nice. to get along, even to the point of carving out a Palestinian state out of Jerusalem and Israel's heartland. Over the weekend, senior Hamas officials, including Damascus-based leader Khalid Mashal, met in Egypt to discuss developments regarding a prisoner swap for Gilad Shalit, as well as the possibility of relaunching reconciliation talks with Fatah and other Palestinian factions. Now, according to the Jerusalem Post here, the Hamas are willing to talk to Fatah. You know, they haven't in the past. They've been at war with each other. Palestinians killing Palestinians. By the way,